In a small town called Greenwood, life was simple and quiet. People went about their daily routines, thinking little of the vast universe beyond their skies. Among the residents was a group of friends: Mia, an aspiring scientist; Jake, the neighborhood artist; Sarah, a bookworm; and Ben, a lover of astronomy. They often hung out at the local park, sharing dreams and ideas under the stars. One clear evening, as the friends gathered with snacks and blankets, Ben pointed up at the sky. "Look! That bright light is an asteroid." Everyone looked up, fascinated by the sight of it. "It's been traveling for a while, but it's safe." "Just a chunk of rock in space," Ben assured the group. Mia, intrigued, asked, "How can you tell it's safe?" Ben smiled. "We have data from scientists. They track these things and calculate their paths. This one isn't on a collision course with Earth." The four friends laughed and talked about the different things they wanted to do. As they shared stories, the asteroid grew larger in the sky. No one noticed how slowly it seemed to change direction. Hours passed, and as the group finished their snacks, something odd happened. The asteroid began to twinkle, brightening in ways that seemed unusual. Everyone stopped talking and looked up again. "Did it just shift?" Jake asked, his voice filled with surprise. Mia frowned. "Asteroids don't change direction like that." She grabbed her phone and searched for news, but there was nothing. Suddenly, the light turned a vivid blue, illuminating the park in an otherworldly glow. The friends gasped. "What is happening?" Sarah whispered, her eyes wide with fear and curiosity. Then, to their astonishment, the asteroid began to spin, and with a flash, it launched a beam of light straight towards the Earth. The beam struck the ground just a few meters away from where the friends were sitting. They jumped back in shock. "What should we do?" Ben shouted, his heart racing. "We need to move. It might be dangerous." Mia yelled, urging everyone to run into the woods just beyond the park. They ran fast, not looking back as the bright light dimmed, echoing strange sounds, as if something powerful was moving. In the woods, they huddled together, trying to catch their breath. "What do you think that was?" Jake asked, his voice shaking. "I don't know, but it didn't seem like an asteroid anymore," Sarah replied, glancing back toward the park. Mia's mind raced. "What if it's a signal? It could be trying to contact us." The thought excited her. Perhaps this was not just an accident but something grand. But before anyone could answer, they heard a soft rustling. From behind the trees, a small creature stepped into view. It was no bigger than a baby deer, with shimmering skin that reflected the colors of the night sky. Its eyes glowed gently, and it looked at them with curiosity. "What is that?" Sarah whispered, stepping closer despite her fear. "I think it's from the asteroid," Ben replied, awestruck. "It must have sent this creature." The small being tilted its head, as if trying to understand who they were. Mia, filled with bravery, took a step forward. "Are you okay? Did you come from that light?" The creature blinked and then, with a soft chirp, it approached her. It extended a small, glowing hand. Mia's heart raced, but she felt a strange sense of peace. Slowly, she reached out and touched its tiny hand. Suddenly, images flooded her mind. She saw vast galaxies, beautiful planets, and a world filled with other strange, shimmering creatures. They lived in harmony, but they needed help. The asteroid had become a vessel, using the beam of light to search for intelligent life that might assist them. "I understand now," Mia said, stepping back as the vision faded. "It's asking for help. Their home is in danger. They need to move to safety. What can we do?" Jake asked, feeling the weight of the moment. Mia thought hard. "We need to contact someone: scientists, astronomers, anyone who can help explain this." The friends realized they had to get back to town and spread the word. They hurried back towards the park, where they could see the glowing asteroid flickering above. It was still sending out light beams as if it was looking for a response. Once they reached their bicycles, Mia grabbed her phone again and started dialing. After several attempts, finally, a researcher from a nearby university answered. "Hello? This is Dr. Evans. What's going on?" Mia spoke quickly, telling the story, feeling the urgency in her voice. "There's a creature that came from the asteroid. It needs our help. The asteroid is trying to reach out." The researcher listened and then replied, "Stay where you are. We'll send a team to verify what you've seen. This could be monumental." They waited anxiously, the creature sitting peacefully beside them. Hours seemed to pass. Finally, headlights filled the park as a van pulled up, and a group of scientists emerged. Among them was Dr. Evans. "Mia, is it?" he called out. She nodded, feeling a mix of excitement and fear. The scientists approached cautiously. Mia pointed at the creature. "This came from the asteroid." Dr. Evans knelt, looking at the little being with wonder. "Fascinating," he whispered. Then he turned to the rest of the team. "We need to document this." As the night passed, the scientists worked diligently, recording data and asking questions. The friends felt a sense of pride. They had helped make a connection between worlds. The next morning, news of the encounter spread like wildfire. People from all over the region came to see the creature, and scientists began preparations to cooperate with the beings from the asteroid. It represented hope, not just for them, but for the entire planet as they united in understanding. The little creature became a symbol of friendship. And as the townsfolk embraced the change, Mia, Jake, Sarah, and Ben stood together, looking up at the sky. They smiled knowing they had played a part in something that could change the history of Earth and beyond. The asteroid was not just an asteroid anymore, it had changed their lives forever. The year is 2347. Dr. Eris Thorne, a seasoned astronomer with a mop of unruly gray hair, stared intently at the monitor. Beside him, his young, eager assistant, Illyra Vance, fidgeted, her eyes glued to the same swirling data. "It's behaving oddly, Eris," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the hum of the observatory's machinery. On the screen, a small, insignificant dot traced a path across the star field. Initially classified as a typical asteroid, its trajectory had been meticulously charted. But now, something was wrong. The dot was deviating from its predicted course, a tiny but unmistakable shift. "Run the recalculations, Illyra," Eris instructed, his voice calm but laced with a growing unease. He'd seen countless asteroids, comets, and other celestial bodies, but this one felt different. It wasn't just the trajectory, it was the speed. The asteroid was accelerating, defying all known gravitational pulls. Illyra's fingers flew across the keyboard. The new calculations confirmed their worst fears. The asteroid, which they'd initially designated as 2347AX1, was not only changing its course but was doing so at an impossible speed. It wasn't following any known physical laws. News of the anomaly spread like wildfire through the global scientific community. Dr. Jian Li, a renowned astrophysicist from the Shanghai Space Agency, joined their team via holographic projection. His usually jovial face was grim. "The trajectory projections are catastrophic, Eris. It's on a direct collision course with Earth." Panic rippled through the small team. The asteroid, though relatively small, was still massive enough to cause regional devastation. The impact would trigger earthquakes, tsunamis, and widespread destruction. The world had to be warned. Eris, Illyra, and Jian worked tirelessly, analyzing the data, searching for any explanation, any clue that could shed light on the asteroid's bizarre behavior. They tried applying every known theory, every possible equation. Nothing worked. The asteroid remained an enigma, a rogue celestial body that seemed to be defying the very laws of physics. Days turned into weeks. The asteroid grew larger in their telescopes, its unusual trajectory becoming even more evident. The world watched, a mixture of fear and fascination washing over the planet. Governments scrambled, preparing for the worst-case scenario. Evacuation plans were drawn up, bunkers were reinforced, and a sense of impending doom hung heavy in the air. One night, while poring over the data again, Illyra spotted something unusual. A faint, almost imperceptible energy signature was emanating from the asteroid. "Eris, look at this," she said, pointing to a specific frequency on the spectrographic analysis. "It's artificial. It's not natural." The team was stunned. The energy signature suggested that 2347AX1 wasn't a natural asteroid at all. It was something else. A manufactured object, perhaps a weapon, or even a spaceship cleverly disguised as a space rock. The possibility sent shivers down their spines. If it was a weapon, who had built it, and what was their goal? The implications were terrifying. The thought of an advanced extraterrestrial civilization wielding such power, capable of altering the very fabric of space and time, sent a wave of fear across the globe. As the asteroid approached Earth, the team made a desperate attempt to communicate. They beamed a powerful radio signal, a message of peace and curiosity, hoping against hope that whoever or whatever was controlling the celestial body would respond. Silence. Then, unexpectedly, a response. A complex sequence of pulses, a language far beyond human comprehension. Dr. Lee, the expert in decoding extraterrestrial signals, worked feverishly. Hours later, he managed to decipher a rudimentary message. The message, translated through intricate mathematical equations and complex algorithms, conveyed a simple plea: "Not weapon, lost. Seek guidance." The asteroid, it turned out, wasn't a weapon. It was a lost spaceship, a vessel from a far-off galaxy, its navigational systems malfunctioning, its trajectory out of control. Its unusual acceleration and course changes were not malicious acts but desperate attempts to correct its path. As the spaceship, formerly mistaken for an asteroid, finally drew near, the team initiated contact. A small, unmanned probe was sent to establish communication and guide the stranded vessel. They carefully guided the ship, helping it avert a collision with Earth, a near miss that could have changed the fate of humanity forever. The incident marked a turning point in human history. It was a testament to human ingenuity and our collective ability to overcome adversity, even in the face of the unknown. The event also served as a reminder that even our most advanced technology and scientific understanding can only take us so far. There are mysteries beyond our comprehension, vast unknowns beyond the reach of our telescopes. And sometimes, what we fear most turns out to be something quite different, something in need of our help. They thought it was just an asteroid. Until it changed direction. Professor Illyra Vance, a veteran astronomer with eyes that mirrored the cosmos, stared at the monitor. A tiny speck of light, initially dismissed as a common asteroid, was behaving strangely. It was moving, yes, but its trajectory was erratic, defying all known celestial mechanics. "It's changing course," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the hum of the observatory's machinery. Beside her, her young assistant, Ben, leaned closer, his breath misting in the cool night air. Ben, fresh out of university, was brimming with youthful enthusiasm. "But Professor, asteroids don't just change course. They follow predictable paths, influenced by gravity." Illyra knew this. That's why she was so unnerved. This wasn't just any asteroid. This was something else entirely. She had dedicated her life to the study of the stars, and she knew, instinctively, that this was unlike anything she'd ever encountered. She alerted Dr. Eris Thorne, a renowned astrophysicist and a friend. Eris, a man known for his calm demeanor even in the face of scientific anomalies, arrived within the hour. He was a tall, slender man, his silver hair contrasting starkly against his dark, intense eyes. "Illyra, what have you found?" Eris asked, his voice laced with concern as he took in the data displayed on the monitor. Illyra explained her observations. The object, now designated as Object X, was not only altering its course but accelerating at an impossible rate. Its composition, initially assumed to be rock and ice, was showing unusual energy signatures. The readings were fluctuating wildly, hinting at an unknown power source. "It's unnatural," Eris murmured, his usual composure wavering slightly. "It's behaving like a sentient being." The news spread like wildfire. The initial reports were met with skepticism, but as Object X continued its erratic dance across the heavens, the world began to pay attention. The media frenzy was intense. Every news channel was filled with speculation: an alien spacecraft? A rogue planet? A weapon of unimaginable power? A global team of scientists, engineers, and military strategists were assembled. The world's most powerful telescopes were trained on Object X, trying to decipher its mysteries. The more they learned, the more frightened they became. Object X was massive. Much larger than any asteroid they had ever observed. Its surface was irregular, almost organic in appearance. The energy signatures were becoming even more powerful, and the object was now moving at a speed that defied any known physics. Amidst the chaos, a small group of scientists, led by Dr. Anya Sharma, a brilliant but controversial astrophysicist known for her unorthodox methods, developed a daring plan. They proposed sending a probe to Object X, to gather closer data and maybe even attempt communication. The plan was risky, incredibly risky. But it was the only option. The world held its breath as the probe, named Hope, was launched. The journey was agonizingly slow, each passing day filled with mounting tension. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Hope reached Object X. The images sent back were breathtaking, and terrifying. The surface was a chaotic landscape of jagged spires and pulsating lights. The energy signatures were off the charts. Then, the probe detected something truly extraordinary. A signal. Not just random noise, but a structured signal, a message. The signal was complex, unlike anything ever encountered. It took weeks for Dr. Sharma's team to decipher it. The message, translated finally, was simple, yet chilling. "We are coming." The world descended into a state of panic. Object X was not just an asteroid. It was a colossal starship, and it was heading straight for Earth. The initial excitement over the discovery of extraterrestrial life was quickly replaced by a palpable fear of annihilation. Eris, Illyra, and Ben worked tirelessly, poring over the data, searching for any clue, any sign of a way to avert disaster. The whole world was now united in a desperate attempt to save itself. Hope, having fulfilled its mission, was destroyed in the process, a necessary sacrifice. The world's leaders convened, strategizing, debating, and arguing. Military options were considered and dismissed. The sheer size and power of Object X made any form of attack seem futile. As Object X drew nearer, hope seemed to fade. The end felt imminent. Then, a strange thing happened. The colossal ship changed course once again. It slowed down gradually, hovering over Earth. The message was changed. A new signal began to broadcast: "We come in peace." The exact reason for the ship's change of course remained a mystery. The world collectively held its breath as humanity braced itself for contact with its alien visitors. The final chapter of this extraordinary story was yet to be written. The future of humankind hung precariously in the balance. The once tiny speck of light had become the defining moment in human history. On a quiet night in the small town of Willow Creek, the stars twinkled brightly in the clear sky. People went about their business, unaware that something extraordinary was about to happen. In a nearby observatory, Dr. Emily Carter was busy analyzing data from her latest project. She was an astrophysicist with a passion for the stars, and tonight, she was particularly excited. "Look at this!" Emily exclaimed, pointing at her computer screen, where a bright object zipped across the sky. Her assistant, Ben, leaned in closer, adjusting his glasses for a better view. "It's just an asteroid, right?" Ben replied, raising an eyebrow. "Not just any asteroid," Emily said, her excitement bubbling. "It's huge. And it's on a direct path toward Earth." They both watched the screen as the object approached. It was a large mass of rock, glowing faintly in the darkness. They had been tracking it for days, and at first, it seemed harmless, passing safely by their planet. This was a typical sight for any astronomer. As the night drifted on, the object began to change direction slightly, which piqued Emily's curiosity. It was subtle but noticeable. "Do you see that?" Emily pointed at the screen again, her voice now a mix of confusion and excitement. "Yeah, that's strange," Ben replied. "Asteroids don't just change their path. Something must be affecting it." As they continued to watch, the asteroid suddenly veered dramatically off course. Emily's heart raced. "We need to alert the government," she said. "This could be serious." They quickly gathered all their data and hopped into Ben's car, racing toward the town hall to present their findings to the mayor, Mr. Thompson. The mayor was in a meeting when they arrived, but they insisted on speaking to him immediately. "Mayor Thompson," Emily called, bursting into the room. "You need to see this. We believe that an asteroid is heading toward Earth, and it's changed direction." The mayor looked startled. "An asteroid? You mean, like a rock in space? Are you sure?" "Yes, I'm sure," she replied, trying to keep calm. She showed him the data on her tablet. "We don't know why it changed course, but it seems to be heading straight toward us now." The mayor immediately called an emergency meeting. Soon, the town was buzzing with rumors and fears. Most people could hardly believe it. In the days that followed, Emily and Ben worked around the clock, gathering more data and looking for answers. They examined images, calculated trajectories, and consulted experts in other observatories. One evening, with a heavy sky overhead, a loud rumble shook the ground. Emily and Ben looked at each other in alarm. "That was closer than ever," Emily said, her voice trembling. "We need to find out where it's headed." With the precision of a skilled scientist, Emily ran calculations while Ben helped gather data from surrounding observatories. As they worked, they noticed strange patterns in the object's movement. It wasn't behaving like an asteroid anymore. "Do you see that?" Ben said, pointing to a graph on the screen. "It's almost as if it's steering." Emily squinted at the numbers. "What if it's not just an asteroid? What if it's something more?" Fear washed over them, but curiosity kept them glued to their screens. They stayed up late, sharing theories and ideas. Just as they began to settle on the question of whether it might be a spacecraft, their observatory received a transmission. "Dr. Carter. Ben. You need to see this," a voice crackled over the radio. It was Dr. Hargrove, an esteemed astronomer from a university in a neighboring city. "I've intercepted a signal coming from that object." Emily's breath hitched in her throat. "What did it say?" "It's some sort of message. We can't decipher all of it, but it seems to contain mathematical equations and symbols we've never seen before," Dr. Hargrove explained. The exhausted duo agreed to travel to Dr. Hargrove's lab to investigate further. When they arrived, they saw scientists at work, frantically piecing together the strange data. Emily felt a tingle of excitement. This could be it, Emily exclaimed. If it's a message, maybe we can communicate with them. Ben frowned slightly. But what if they aren't friendly? Before they could discuss more, a loud crash echoed outside, startling everyone in the lab. They rushed to the window and stared. The glowing asteroid had changed its shape and size, expanding rapidly. I think it's landing, Emily shouted. Without thinking, the group ran outside. The sky lit up with vibrant colors as the entity descended. In moments, it landed softly on an open field outside the town. The ground rumbled, and clouds of dust swirled around. What is that? A curious local asked, watching the scene unfold. I don't know, but we have to find out, Emily replied, feeling a mix of fear and awe. As the dust settled, an enormous, metallic structure stood before them, pulsing with energy. Curiously, the surface seemed to change colors, displaying images and symbols. Emily and Ben cautiously approached, hearts pounding with anticipation. Suddenly, the surface began to shift, like it was alive. A bright beam shot out from it, illuminating the darkening night sky. They felt drawn to it, as though it was calling to them. Dr. Hargrove turned to the group, whispering, "Should we go closer?" Before anyone could respond, the beam of light enveloped Emily and Ben, lifting them from the ground. They felt weightless, floating through the air, surrounded by a warm glow. "Hold on!" Ben shouted, but his voice was lost in the bright light. In an instant, they found themselves transported inside the structure, surrounded by strange symbols and vivid colors. They stood in awe as creatures emerged from the shadows. They looked different, with shimmering skin and bright eyes that sparkled. "Welcome," they said in unison, their voices resonating through Emily and Ben's minds, translating their thoughts into understanding. "You are brave and curious humans," one of the beings continued. "We come in peace. We are travelers from another galaxy, seeking knowledge and friendship. Your world is fragile, and we offer assistance." Emily and Ben exchanged glances, excitement mixed with disbelief. "Will you help us?" Emily asked, her voice steady. "Yes," the beings replied. "Together, we can explore the universe, and in return, we ask for your friendship and shared learning." As they stood there, contemplating the possibilities, they realized that they were no longer just scientists observing the stars. They were part of something much bigger, an adventure that would change their lives and the fate of Earth forever. In that moment, Emily understood that the strange asteroid had brought them the opportunity to connect with a new life, opening doors to a universe full of wonders yet to discover. Together, they stepped into a new chapter of exploration and friendship.